thinking to introduce a little bit yourself. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Jose was our coach in during the summer school this year in Madrid, and it's really a beautiful person. He exchanged, he talked with us, and uh, told us all these experiences and tried to teach us everything he knows, and it was really great at it. And that's why we decided to invite him to our podcast because he is really a beautiful person, and we want everyone to know him. So thank you, Jose, for joining us. And if you want to take some time to talk about yourself and what's
It's my pleasure.
for you.
It's
Yeah.
really my pleasure. I hope I can be useful for you.
Yeah, if you can talk a little bit about your background, your career, how you arrived here, just to let people understand it.
Okay. So it's not easy because I think I have I have getting several lives in only one life, but I will try it. I was trained by engineering school when I was young in computer science school, but also in anthropology. And as you know, that is maybe one of the reasons I am fully crazy. But I need this both parts in my brain in my way to understand the reality. I need the structure and the analysis skills from the engineering space, but I need also to try to understand the human being in order to understand myself. Then I was working as a executive director for many worldwide companies, mainly in the space of consulting and technology, companies like Siemens, like IBM, like Microsoft, and many companies more in several positions. This is part of my way to understand the evolution that I need. I need to check and to improve my skills in several kind of jobs. So I was working as a sales manager, operations manager, general manager, etc. Around 8 years ago, I feel I was losing a very important part in my life is the coherence. I understand the coherence, like the alignment between I think, I feel, and I do. And I was missing this kind of alignment during several years. Really, it's a progressive process. It's not. I didn't wake up one morning. And, I don't have coherence. No, it's a progressive process. But I felt in one moment with several signals, mainly in my body, in the physical part of myself, and I need to stop and to be aware about the reason why I was missing this coherence. And I got the reason. And I was deciding not to go away the space that I was living in that moment, but try to convert the skills and the way that I have to do the things in other way. It's a kind of transmutation, a kind of transformation, trying to increase this coherence. That's the reason why I create several branches in my professional space with several companies, several way to do the things. That is all of those are need for me in order to complete the coherence. Right now, I am working mainly in three companies. New Bean is a company about the coaching, trying to help the people who needs to achieve something new in the professional space in the life space, and I try to help them in order to understand what are the key learnings that they need in order to improve or to evolve or to achieve new things. This is the coaching for me, and this is the space in the case of a New Being company. Other company is Innovation Wars. The name is Thibuc. Thibuc is CIBUC. This Crowd Intelligence Business Challenge is a kind of acronym. and we are using the cloud artificial intelligence, like the key methodology, combining a methodology from the MIT in US with the technology, specific technology, specific kind of algorithm that implement the crowd intelligence in a very, very efficient way. And the key for that kind of methodology is try to help the companies, the organizations in worldwide to solve the challenges that they have. Challenges in whatever, in the space of business, in the space of people, in the space of strategy, in the space of whatever. It's a very, very interesting way to complete my coherence in myself because it's a very useful way to help trying to change the world. And the third one is Harbinger. Harbinger Institute is an American company from US, and mainly in Spain and in other countries in Europe, we are trying to change the mindset in the organizations. Again, considering that the mindset is the basis that where we can change the behaviors that we can use in order to achieve our results. So if we change the mindset, we increase the probability to change our behavior, the behaviors that are needed in order to achieve the results. And it's very interesting also. But because I am crazy, as you know, I need other spaces in my life, so I try to collaborate with the academic space in several universities in the Europe space, business school, etc. And I have also a specific foundation where we are trying to get the right equality between women and men.
That's very
And that's
interesting.
all.
I'm very fascinated by your journey to like coherence. First of all, because started like with anthropology study, and it's very very interesting, and also because you're doing something that we all want to do. So create a work that is very interesting, coherent for us. Maybe doing different jobs and in some way overcome the basic structure of the people, how people imagine the jobs, the standard jobs, because they think, okay, I can have only one job, and you're like demonstrating the opposite. So it's very interesting for me, and I would like to start with the coaching part. So what does it mean for you doing the coach? What is maybe the difficult part of doing your job, and why do you decide to do that?
It's a very good question. I think that the most difficult part of coaching, at least for me, is get the separation between the other and me. Because to do the coaching in the right way, you need to be empathic with the other person, or with the other people. You need this kind of connection with the people, but you need to try to separate in order to not be very empathic. Because if you are very empathic, you are not in the right place to help. The coaching is a kind of investigation process. You need to the other person investigating in herself, in himself, in order to identify what is the space to improve, what is the mechanism that he or she can use in order to improve something, and you are helping in order to get this space. But if you are in her or his place, you cannot do these kind of things. I don't know if I try to explain, but it's not easy because it's a very abstract thing. It's a question of place. You need to be empathic, but not at all. You
I
need to
get it.
balance. You need to
It's like
right,
you
right,
need to like move yourself a little bit further from the person, but you need also to understand it because you need to try.
right.
You want to help him, but you don't want to be in his shoes in that moment because otherwise, it's the same thing as he helping himself, and you want to give him
Yes.
an outside view of how can improve. And I think that's what I got from your explanation. I mean, I don't know if I got it right.
Fully right. Fully right. And we need to avoid to give in my case, my coachee or my coaches, I need to avoid to give them a recommendation, even if I see one thing very clear, I need to stop myself because the key is he can identify it. You know what I mean? It's similar when we were in the summer school in Madrid. I was suffering because I need to stop myself. If I see something very clear, I need to stop myself in order to not don't give you the answer, don't give you the trick, the tip, etc. Even in this way, I understand you. If you tell me, please, Jose, tell me, because I feel you know it, but it's not useful if I tell you what is the whatever the solution, the specific recommendation for you. That's the difference between the coaching and other disciplines. For instance, the mentoring. If I am your mentor, I have the responsibility to tell you something you need. If I have it clear, but a coach not. A coach need to help you in order to you identify what is the key. It's like the name of coach is very useful because a coach is like a horse, it's like a car, and really, it's the driver. Okay, but the most important thing is someone that who can put in the car um, beside in the same way that the driver is, but not conditioning the driving way. You know, that's the coach, and you are the drivers, and your life is the car.
Yeah.
You
I
basically
cannot tell you.
help us identify
No,
ourselves, the way in which we can improve instead of telling us. I think that what you said is the mentor tells you what you're missing. Instead, the coach helps you find it by yourself. If, is it right?
right,
Okay,
right.
that's really cool.
For me, it's most powerful, obviously. And even if I have clear in several cases, it's like that. I take out the tie, the coaching tie, and I tell you, because I am your friend. But I explain you in this way. Please, I am not a coach right now
Yeah, of course.
because it's very, very important to separate what is the coaching, what is a friend, what is a mentor.
So I will ask you a question as a mentor or as a friend, because we are very fascinated also on the whole part of human interaction inside the job. So we think that relating with your team as a colleague or as a leader in the team is very important and something we have to learn. Unfortunately, university in the first years didn't give us too many chance to practice that, but you are trying to do it anyway. And so I want to ask you, which are your maybe advice about leadership, team working, team communication, everything like that, in terms of human interaction. So how we can maybe practice it and how what we have to focus to get better.
I would like also to add
Mhm.
one thing. Just thinking back to what you said before, like distinguishing the part of a friend and the part of a coach. If your experience has happened to coach one of your friends, or some of the people that you coached became your friend after, is it ever happened in your experience?
Yes, yes. I will try to answer
It's a big
both
question.
questions.
Sorry.
I mean,
No, no, no. I'll
start
wait.
wherever
I'll
you
wait.
want. We
I'll
can
wait.
repeat the question if you don't remember it.
No worries. No worries. Uh, Regarding the first one, I think as a leader, we need to separate the hard and the soft skills in our team, considering that the soft skills are the basis of the hard. Okay, so in my experience as a leader, the right way to teach, to help to the evolution for the team in the hard space is to be a mentor. But for the soft space, for the soft skills, we need to be a coach. And it's not easy because you have to be in alert every day. What is this question? It's a question of hard skills, it's a question of soft skills, even both. But your role has to be different depending of are hard or are soft. It's like the role play, as I told you before, with my tie or with my cap. I take out my cap of coach. I need to be a mentor right now. I put the coach cap right now because I need to be a coach. For me, a leader is a person who is able to impact in the team in order to they can develop. That's the key. Because if they develop, they can achieve the results. But the results is a kind of secondary effect. Obviously, it's the most important. But the root cause to achieve the results is to develop the talent, to develop the skills, to develop the experience. Because in that way, we can achieve everything. You know. So to develop the people, we need to both roles, the mentor and the coach, because the evolution is different in this hard space than in the soft skills. Is clear, Tommaso? Or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I like this explanation about the leader, and I think we have to take a clear consideration about the hard skill and the soft skill and the way you can interact with the other people in the group. Also, I think it's very interesting what you told me during the summer school about in some way get to know uh, the goals and the desire and the fears of every member of your group. So working towards that,
right,
and that's I think
right. And the most difficult part in this process of leadership is when we need and we have to uh, to put the goals on the table, the objectives, because I think maybe in every company worldwide, from the smallest to the biggest, they are using the SMART model, specific, measurable, achievable, etc. And it's right. We need the objectivation in terms of the goals. But in this kind of parameters, from the SMART way, we missed the soft space in order to develop the people. So, in my way to work with my teams, is try to put on the table goals that combine the smart part with uh, at least two more dimensions. Their own development, every objective that I have or I put on the table has to include the development of the people and the alignment. The alignment in the vertical part, so the objective that they need to achieve have to be aligned with my own objective. And this is obvious, but it's not easy. So the vertical alignment and the horizontal alignment, because in many companies, we need the casuistic that one area, one department, one team are working in order to achieve their goals, and this process is fully against the goals that other team, department, and area in the same company have. And it's crazy, but it's happening right now in many companies. It's one of the reasons why we have the silos, the silos in the companies, different areas that are fighting every day against their own objectives. For instance, the marketing space with the sales space, or the sales space with the finance space, and the finance space with the operation space. It's a war. And the key reason why about that is the goals are not defined in the right way, because there is not alignment and there is not the key in terms of the develop of the people. And for the second question, the simple answer is yes. Yes. When the process of coaching is active, I need to try to difference between the friendship and the coach role. But at the coach process, when the coaching process is finished, I am a friend of my coaches. I can tell you, maybe if ever, from for the 8 years, the last 8 years, I have many, many friends. And all of those are my friends, my coaches. Okay. And it's very, very,
That's
very,
that's
very,
beautiful. I mean, you also
it's very,
reach beautiful people. I mean, they wouldn't be friends of yours if they wouldn't be like beautiful people for you or people that will help you in your life. And that's really cool that you can be able to find those people in your work life. Also, I have also another question about your answer to Tommaso, which was you said that when you communicate with people in business or in work, you need to align your objectives vertically and horizontally. And I was thinking, of course, it's not always possible to find the perfect alignment, and this will rise conflicts. How do you manage to deal with these conflicts or avoid or fight in this situation?
it's the, it's the key question. And it's not easy to answer it in several minutes, but I will try it. When these situations appear in terms of conflict, okay, imagine that I could not to explain well or define well the objectives, and a conflict appears. In these situations, we can talk about the collusion. Collusion is a very usual, very common process between two parts in the human being space. Imagine, as I told you before, we have one part of the company, another part, and I don't know if I can use the
Yeah, yeah,
whiteboard,
yeah.
but I
Of
will try.
course, of
I
course.
will try it. You know me. I will try. Tell me if you can watch it well, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
sure.
perfect. It's perfect.
Let me try with the time. Right. We have one part in the company, another part in the company, and both have, in a specific part of their job, one, two, three uh, objectives that are making a conflict
Okay.
between them. Okay, and then this part. Imagine this is the X part, and this is the Y. The Y part is doing something that is disturb this part. Okay, then when this kind of behavior appear, this part, the X part, perceive the other part like an enemy. Okay, and they start to see this part using in their mind a kind of labels. And these labels, this is not easy to explain, but convert these people in object.
Okay.
Okay.
They are
Okay.
not people, they are object, they are obstacle. So in the mind of these people appear labels like this is an obstacle, they are my enemy, etc. Okay?
Okay.
When this part of the company, the X part, see this other part in that way, they do a kind of behaviors that again disturb this part. Then this part see the other in a similar way, like an obstacle, like an enemy, whatever. Okay. When this thing happens, both parts have created the conflict because we close the cycle in this way, and when this part see the other in this way, increase the behavior that disturb this part. And we have a vicious cycle. Okay? This is the root of the conflict in the majority of the cases, not only in the companies, also in your family, with your girlfriend, whatever. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we need to cut in one part of this cycle the root cause in order to stop the conflict. And it is not easy. The technique for that is choose one of the part. Imagine that I choose this one, the X part, and I have a specific meeting with them, and I try to accompany them in order to change the way that they are seeing the other part. How? Considering that this part have, as we talked before, they have goals, they have needs, they have challenges, okay? Because all these goals, these needs, and the challenges are the fundamental part of their job. And then I ask them, what do you think about someone that have this kind of things, this kind of goals, this kind of needs, this kind of challenges? And I can swear you that in the majority of the cases, the answer for this question is I love to help someone with this kind of goals, needs, and challenges. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I need to separate the protagonist of the conflict, not talking about the people, talking about the importance space for one person with this kind of things, goals, needs, and challenges. And on this way, we change this part in the X space. And then we sit with them and we try to identify a specific action plan to change this kind of behaviors. I do this, and then, I don't know, the next day, I have a similar meeting with them, with this part, with the Y part. And I do the same exercise in the opposite direction. Okay? When this task is completed, I have a specific meeting with both, like a kind of mediator. And then they tell the other part the specific action plan that they were working in order to change the situation. And it's magic. It's magic. Because this part is the lead. So we cut the vicious cycle. This is the soft part, you know? It's a sample about the soft part that we talked before.
Of course, it's fascinating how also a not that how can I say it, rational thing can become like rationalized with this method. I mean, it's we
Like,
are engineers. We, as you said during the summer school, we work in this way. We our brain are done by are done in this way, and they think in these terms. So taking this conflict part, conflict thing, that's not that easy to understand and to solve, and put it in these words and this way of solving it. It's really really fascinating. Also, the the thing about breaking the vicious cycle and by starting from taking a group, a team, and make them see again the other team as a person who has needs, goals, and uh, what was the other one? I don't remember. But
needs and challenges, for instance.
exactly, it's really something that it seems kind of obvious at first when you say it, but it's not that easy to think about it when you need to solve the conflicts. It's not that it's
Right.
really 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 cool.
Yeah, I think it's practical to see that if we put everything in a human perspective, everything becomes more easy because at the end of the day, we are human that works together, live together, have fun together. So it's very easy to forget that, but if we do some step back, we can solve a lot of stuff. It's very interesting. I have another question in some way related to this. Like Manuela said, we are engineer. We think like engineer in every stuff. Sometimes is a problem. And also we decided to take part to EIT because we like also the business part of the company. So my question is, how do you see engineers in the business part of the company? Which are their strengths and which are their weaknesses?
Um, I think in the majority of the cases, all the engineers have only strengths. Really, um, the business needs a structure. The business needs analysis. The business needs the designs skills of a strategy, of a tactical part, etc. The business needs plan, but the several engineers have a very important week. It's a week about these kind of things. When we are engineers, we think about a process. Okay, if I click on whatever, one button, the process starts, and we have these stages and these spaces, and then the output is this one. We think like that, right? But the people don't work like that. With the people, uh, you consider a specific input, you consider a specific process with several stages and phases, and the output is not ever the same, like in the computational space or whatever. And that's the key in order to evolve like a businessman from the engineering part. We need to evolve in these soft skills that is helping us to understand the people, to communicate to the people, to identify the emotional part. Because in business, everything is about the people. Everything. It's not about the product. It's not about the solution. It's not about whatever. It's about the people. That's the reason why, from the last years, at least the last 15, maybe 20 years, we are trying to work in several methodologies and models in the business part, considering the human being space, like design thinking, like agile, like this kind of methodologies. If you think about the agile methodology, it's really considering the people part, because we are not saying nothing about the process. At least the waterfall versus the cycle, not the sprints, etc. But the change in the model to approach the business with design thinking with agile is consider the people in the space of the workers and in the space of the clients.
Thank you, Jose. It's true. It's really really true what you say, and we both of us, me and Tommaso, we are trying to work on that because we know that our thinking mode it's like addressed to do something different. But of course, we are trying to work on it, and
I
some
know.
we are facing some difficulties on working not only on that, but in general while working on things and studying things. It's like we like find difficult to be consistent at times. And so, if you have any suggestions on how to stay consistent and keep working every day a little, I mean, not you need not to like do everything in one day, but I mean, stay consistent during your work path.
Yeah, I want to add a little things because the problem for consistency for us is very important. We are full of ideas every day. We try and think, talk about new things every day. We start projects every day, but usually we struggle with mm, do different steps in the same project. And in some way, sometimes it's useful because you learn different things, but some way it's also stressful to not ever complete something, deliver something.
Mhm.
So
I
if
think both questions are very linked. Let me tell you, in the majority of the cases, the people like us that we need to create, to innovate, etc., are putting all the effort in the what and in the how. Do you know what I mean? what is the product, what is the solution, what is, and how we can implement it, how we can build it, etc. And that is needed. But I think for all the people, it's very, very important to stop and to consider and analyze the purpose, not the goal. The goal maybe is the money, maybe is to whatever. Everyone has a specific goal. The purpose is for what I need to create something. Something, not this one, something. I need to create and I need to be an innovator or I need to build a startup because I need to change the world, for instance. It's only an example, okay? Okay, but what will you feel when you change the world? This is the purpose. And every emotion that appears right now is the anchor for all the process. Is the anchor because it's the only thing that you need to remember every day in order to be consistent in the process of change. For instance, my purpose is, as I told you at the beginning, to help the people to change their life in order to achieve their goals. But this is the what, okay? The true purpose behind this, in my case, is I need to learn every day. Because when I learn, I enjoy a lot. And the way to learn in myself is to help the other to learn. Like in a mirror, you know?
Yes.
If I remember every day in every task that I do that I need to enjoy with my own learning, the way, the what and the how that I use for that doesn't matter. It's to start from the top. And then, if you are on the top of a mountain, you have many ways to go to the top. Not all of those are possible, obviously. But depending the way that you have, and then depending the start of your way, because you are on the bottom of the mountain right now, you can use specific tools for that. A specific bag, and a specific amount of water, and a specific ropes, and a specific whatever. But really, these kind of things, don't mind. The most important thing is to achieve the top of the mountain. And the top of the mountain is your own and specific purpose. In emotional talking, you need to identify the emotion that you need to achieve in your life or in 3 years or the next month or whenever. And then with the kind of top of the mountain, it's not easy, but it's almost clear to identify the way. And in this climbing process, obviously, you need to change many things. You need to learn something. You need to integrate in yourself a specific skill. It's very similar. I don't know if it's clear because,
Yeah, no, I mean
but
it's very interesting for us because I think that a lot of people like us are have some difficulties in distinguish the purpose, the goal of the single like venture that we are creating, and also for us maybe the purpose, like the top of the mountain, is very blurry right now. So we have to understand it a little bit better. But I think the point is trying to see everything we do in our life, all the simple project, the complicated project we do, with maybe long-term vision of what is our purpose, and not in terms of mm, material achievement, but more in emotional achievement.
even if your goal, your top, is solely material, doesn't matter. But if I need to gain money, okay, it's perfect. But what does represent the money for you in your emotional part? That's the key. Because when I am in the top of the mountain after a climbing, the most important thing for me it's not the selfie, it's not. It's what I am feeling right now on the top of the mountain. When I see the landscape, when I take out the sweat on my front, whatever. That's the key. It's the reason why we do everything, because we need a specific emotion. And if you have cleared the emotion that you need every day, it's a kind of compass for you, because you feel if you are in the right way or not.
Yeah, we have.
And obviously, then you design and you think about the what and the how, the product, the process, the system, whatever. But considering this kind of compass.
Yeah, we have to test in some way our goal with what emotion are related to that, because maybe it's not so clear. We have to work it a little bit on that, and understand if the goal is actually real, our purpose is something that we have in mind, but will not give us like happiness or a real achievement for us. And so when we start to have like difficulties in our projects, we kind of give up because it's not really what we want to do.
Right, that's the idea. And even don't mind if the emotion that you identify doesn't have a specific name. Okay, if you cannot identify the right name for this emotion, you don't know if it's the name of the emotion is happiness, is whatever. That doesn't mind, because you are feeling it. When you think on that, you are feel it, and the level of the emotion, the name, the specific name, doesn't matter. It's yours, and you know.
That's yeah, that's something we need to work on. And thank you for your suggestions and your guidance. I
If you need any kind of friend
Yeah, of
to
course.
help you on this kind of exercise, please call me.
Yeah, for
And
sure. We'll reach out to you for sure. Thank you for offering that. I was wondering if you also have some general advice for young people who are starting university right now, who are in their early age. They are starting right now to thinking about their future, what they want to do in the future as a career, or what they want to become. What is an advice that you have for those guys, for those people?
I don't like the the suggestions, the advisements, because it's very easy to give them, but
Yes.
you know. But I can share with you only four words. The first one is enjoy. Obviously, not all the days, okay? But try to think about you need to enjoy. That's the key. And you will have very hard days, very dark days. It's part of the life, it's part of the universe. But try to keep your mind in the joy. This is the first one. The second one is love. Love. What does it mean? Love. Love. Love means love. Okay? Try to love everything you do. But again, you will have many days that you try to love and it's impossible. Doesn't matter. Because you love your purpose. You love the reason why you are doing this. Even if you don't like what you are doing. But you are loving your purpose. Enjoy. Love. Learn. If you are 20 years, if you are 50 years, if you are 90 years, you need to learn. And the key is try to learn the most important thing that you need to achieve your purpose in three levels. The first one is to understand you are trying to learn. It's the intellectual level. Okay. The second one is the feeling. This thing that I am trying to learn makes sense for me in order to achieve my purpose. But ask yourself about that, because the intellectual part is only the first filter. No one learns only in the intellectual part. Okay? We need to go to the second one about that makes sense for me in order to achieve my purpose. And the third one in the learning process is the application, is to to realize that this thing I learn is useful for me in the daily basis. Okay? Enjoy, love, learn, and share. Share. One treasure that is only for you is not a treasure. It's a seed. It's your seed, but it's a seed. Okay? You know the law of rings, no? My treasure, my treasure. Okay, it's your treasure. It's a seed. If you don't share, it's not a treasure. So again, enjoy, love, learn, and share, and you got it.
Yeah. I think I'll write on the fridge this for was like a guidance for us. I love that because I think in 4 words you can sum up everything we need to consider to live at best this university period and also start the career, but in general all our life.
Everything. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's something you need to live by always, and it doesn't mind what year of your life are you in, how old are you, and things like that. I mean, I think that these 4 words are always important in every stage of your life, and these are really,
Right,
really
fully right,
powerful, really powerful.
fully
so
right.
thank you very much for joining our
Do you want to ask
uh,
the last question about
the book. No? Of course. No.
Yeah, I mean, I was also the collective intelligence part.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we were really fascinated by the tool that you suggested us to use during the summer school, the collective intelligence. And I
Mhm.
was wondering, I mean, for us, it was really, really powerful, and it helped us on finding the solution and also the right way to find a collective solution to our problem in that case. I was wondering if it's something that can be used also in other fields or in other situation in your life, and how, if there is any differences between what we did and how to use it in different fields.
I think you touch the key of the methodology, the collective intelligence methodology, because the key is try to put the look only in the solution to the challenge, not uh, waste time discussing, not waste time considering I need to win the fighting against the different opinions. No, the key is to put the look on the solution, on the challenge, and try to go in the inverse way. It's an inverse brainstorm. If you need to face any challenge in your life, try to identify what kind of problems you have behind the challenge, because the challenge is only the headline. Okay, but if you put the specific words in the challenge, you can identify ever that the challenge is divided in several problems. Then you need to classify them like in a kind of priority, considering the importance that one specific problem has in order to solve the challenge, because not every problem has the same importance, and the facility in order to solve the problem. Okay, if you consider both parameters of dimensions, and you can, I do it. I do this kind of exercise, and I use a kind of grade for 1 to 5 to grade the importance and the facility. Imagine one problem for me is 3 in terms of importance, and if it's very easy, so it's 1 in terms of facility to do it. So I combine both parameters and I have a kind of grade, a specific grade for a specific problem. The same for the other problems, the same for the other problem. Then I have a ranking. I have a prioritization in order to face in order all the specific problems. And I can check that in 1 or 2 or 3 problems, I need other people. Then is when I use the rules that we were using on the summer schools in terms of a specific time to think, a specific time to express, a specific time to vote, and vote using objective parameters, and then we need the solution for the problem.
Okay, perfect. Uh, Thank you for joining us and for your time. I hope you enjoyed this podcast as well as us, because
No, really.
it was really really great. And what do you want to add something?
No, just let's keep in touch in the future, and thank you very much for coming here.
Of course.
Bye bye.
Bye. We will get
I
in touch
really
with you
only
again.
my last words.
Yes.
Obviously, we will on touch every you need. Only my last sentence. I enjoy it a lot, really, because I was learning with you. When you ask me, this is the click for me in order to identify everything is useful. So great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. That's it.